In today's episode of News Desk, we look into the possible collapse of Volkswagen, which is making headline news all around the world as they face for the first time in almost 90 years catastrophic new sales of ICE, hybrid and EV cars, resulting in the closure of 3 factories in Germany, while the workers and unions are fighting back. The entire Volkswagen Group, which includes VW, Audi, Porsche and Bentley, has relied on China for over half of its sales and profit for many years. And that has now abruptly just almost come to an end, with Chinese buyers going nearly 100% EV and preferring their own homemade offerings by the likes of XPeng, NIO, BYD, Geely and others. VW, once vying for the position of the largest car manufacturer in the world with Toyota, is today finding its European and American sales insufficient to support it into the future, forcing it to adopt ever more desperate measures just to survive. I'm Dave, this is Dave Takes It On. Well, congratulations to regular viewer Jeff for ordering his first Tesla, a Model Y, using my referral code. Jeff gets £1,000 off the price of his Model Y, and I get £500 credited to my Tesla account to spend in the Tesla shop, the service centre, or on superchargers. Well, a massive thank you to all the viewers who've helped us to reach 3 million views and over 12,000 subscribers. Also, very special mention to Tom Davison, a long-time subscriber and supporter of this channel, who's taken it on himself to take on, wonder where he got that idea from, the spreaders of lies and misinformation by filming his regular journeys from the UK to Spain and back in his Tesla, showing what it's really like. A link to his channel is included in the description below. I'll recommend you having a look at that. Well, VW is not alone in finding the future is looking very precarious. Ford, Toyota, Stellantis and General Motors have also made some catastrophic decisions in response to the meteoric rise in EV adoption that is sweeping the world. Like it or not, around 20%, 1 in 5 of all the people who previously bought ICE cars have now bought EVs. Volkswagen previously sacked their own CEO, Herman Diess, when he suggested the way forward a few years ago was to go all in on EVs themselves, a decision they must now be regretting. Instead, as the financial crisis deepens, they've embarked on a strategy that smacks of desperation. It's totally reliant on making EVs and making a profit, and might fail if the group runs out of money before it can start producing any results. What they've decided now is really interesting, and this is going to be a race against time because they're going to open up Scout Motors over in America. This is going to be an independent company operating in the USA as a totally separate company, but under the Volkswagen banner, and it's going to be offering pickup trucks and SUVs to the American population. I'm Dave, this is Dave Takes It On. So why is this such a big deal? Oh, there's a huge amount happening with the Scout Motors, and it is literally a race against time. Volkswagen is rapidly running out of money. They're shutting down all over the place, factories and facilities and dealerships. It's just going all bad at the same time, but they've now seen there is a way forward, and this could well be it. So there's a race against time to see whether they can get this up and running before they run out of money and just go bust. And it literally is a race. Nobody knows the answer to this one. So why is this so exciting? Well, first of all, Scout Motors is going to be a brand new company. It's going to be based in America, could extend into other countries in the future if it's successful. But it's going in America at the moment. And what it will be doing, it'll be making 100% EVs. No petrol, no diesel, there's no legacy behind, which is a drain on them. They'll be opening new factories so they don't have old-fashioned, antiquated, inefficient factories which they're having to pay for, nor do they have an existing inefficient large workforce used to working with production lines. So there's a big advantage there. The factories they open up will be brand new factories. Now Tesla has shown for quite a long time now, but certainly recently, that if you can design a factory specifically for efficiency and specifically for EVs, you can actually produce cars an awful lot faster. Let me give you some of the figures. It was Herman Diess, the ex-CEO, I say ex-CEO, he said VW should go 100% EV a good number of years ago, and he got sacked for it. But what he said at the time, and these figures are true, is it takes Volkswagen 30 minutes to produce an ID3. 30 minutes. At the time he said it, this was a few years ago, the Fremont factory was turning out Model 3s, the Model Y hadn't come out at that point, every 10 minutes. So in other words, it was 3 times more efficient than the Volkswagen factory. And that was huge. That was huge. You know, if you can increase your efficiency by a factor of 3, that drops your prices dramatically. But Fremont itself was an old-fashioned factory. It was originally a General Motors factory before they stopped making cars there because they couldn't make a profit. And so it was not the best of factories. And Tesla's always said that the Fremont factory is, and always will be, the least efficient of all the factories in their range. When they opened up Shanghai, they brought that 10 minutes of making a Tesla Model 3 down to 2.5. So the Chinese Shanghai Gigafactory brought that down to 2.5 minutes. Now, 2.5 minutes, Volkswagen 30 minutes, that's a 12 times greater efficiency. They can produce 12 times as many cars out of the same factory. It's an absolutely staggering figure, and it's just beyond the comprehension of an awful lot of people. Most of the legacy autos thought they could use, the advantage they had, they could use their existing legacy factories to just suddenly switch into EVs. And what Tesla found should have been a warning to them, and what Volkswagen and everyone else has found, you can't use existing production line techniques invented by Henry Ford over 100 years ago for making EVs. Doesn't work. Just doesn't work. Chinese have proved it, Tesla's proved it, BYD's proved it, everyone's proved it. You need a dedicated factory specifically designed for efficiency of manufacture. And then you need a car which is designed to be efficient. So it's a totally different concept. So what they're doing over there is they are going to be setting up these dedicated factories optimized for maximum efficiency and output. At the same time, there's another massive change. We saw this recently with all the strikes with the United Auto Workers, where the workers got something like a 20 or 30% pay rise. These new factories will produce EVs on a scale that is incredibly efficient compared to what it is today. They will need an awful lot less workers. And because they haven't got any workers there at the moment, these factories haven't even been built yet, they can take on only as many as they're going to need. They're not, as they're finding in Germany, having to fight the unions and the courts and the law to try and get rid of workers who just aren't being used anymore. That's a big challenge for them. And that's going to cost Volkswagen a huge amount of money. They're going to have to pay these people off. Sorry, you 3,000 workers in this factory. The factory's not economical to operate. You're going to have to go. We can relocate some of you to new factories, but it'll be on lower wages, and the ones who aren't relocated, we're going to have to pay you a redundancy or a severance package. They haven't got that in America with Scout Motors. These are brand new factories. They'll only take on the workers they need. They can train them up or bring in experienced people. But another big movement is they won't be selling through dealers. Now, dealers, it's the bane of people's lives over in America. It's also not good in this country. When Volkswagen or Ford or Stellantis, anyone makes a car, they sell it to their dealers, and obviously for a discount. The dealers buy that car, well, they don't buy it, they finance it back to Ford or Stellantis, and they then put the car on the forecourt, and when they sell it, they have to pay off that loan. It's as simple as that. Anything they make on that car is a profit. But what that does is it gives the dealer a very big incentive to sell that car for as much as they possibly can. A lot of you will be aware of dealer markups. And they are just, they're just abhorrent. It's just the dealers. Well, if you can't buy one in another dealership, we're going to add $3,000 to the price of the car because you can't buy it elsewhere. We in this country see this already. If you have school children and you want to go on holiday, guess what? When your kids are on holiday, the hotel is twice the price. Everyone's doing it. They're cashing in on people who are have no choice or desperate. So over in America, the dealers have got a reputation for just ripping customers off, and people always walk out of there, even if they've ordered a car and agreed a deal, thinking, actually, if I'd argued a bit longer, I could have got a better deal. There's a sour taste in your mouth. So what's happening over there is they will be selling direct to the public through their website, the Scout Motors website, not Volkswagen, exactly the same way that Tesla do, Rivian do, and Lucid. You don't need dealers. You need service engineers, you need service centres. That's very different. That's a maintenance or repair issue, not a selling one. But you will be able to go online and you will be able to order whatever it is you want. Anyone who's ever ordered a Tesla will find one really amazing thing. There is absolutely no negotiation whatsoever over the price. If you go on and it says your Model 3Y or whatever is this price, you click on it, it's that price. You can't haggle, you can't get discount, you can't get anything that Tesla don't already offer you. Because if you order online, you, in this case Scout Motors or Volkswagen, is selling direct to the person who is going to be driving the car. They will sell it at the full list price. So they no longer have to give a discount to a dealer to sell that car and for him to make a profit. So what it would mean is if they sell at the same price as previously, I know you can't in this case because it's a brand new company, brand new car, nobody knows the price, but bear with me. If you previously sold through a dealer and you had to give them a 10% discount for buying it and selling it on, you can now make that 10% on your profit as a manufacturer and keep it. So this is big. It means it will cut the cost of selling their cars dramatically. Don't know if you know how much it costs to run a website where you can just click on it, put the credit card details in, and it's done. It's not a lot. So they're going to do away with dealers. And this again will give Scout Motors a massive, massive boost, whereas Volkswagen, Ford, General Motors, all the others are paying huge sums of money to try and get rid of workers who just aren't working at the moment because there's no demand. Scout Motors will be operating a very minimal workforce and they won't be having to give away any of the discounts to the dealerships. Massive, massive, massive business model this. And this one, I really believe this will succeed if they can get enough money to keep them going until they can get into mass production. And it gives me a little bit of hope because they did get into factory production of EVs, i.e. the ID3, ID4, ID5. They never hit any sensible figures, never got up to Tesla's, 150, 200,000 a month. Just never got anywhere near that. They were talking, thousands a year. But they have actually got experience of running these factories. So I have hope for it. Now, what else does the car offer? The car offers something which is performance-based. So they're going to have two models, and these look very much like the Rivians, the R1T and the R1S, and they have two models. They have a SUV, which looks like effectively a Range Rover, and then they have a pickup, which looks like a Range Rover with an open back. It's simple as that. So there's only two models, and these are very popular in America. And also the Cybertruck has proved that there's still a huge demand for pickup trucks. And the Model 3 has proved there's a huge demand for, the Model Y has proved there's a huge demand for SUVs. So these are two key areas of the market that they are very popular. And they're going to make really good cars. This is going to be on the scale and the performance of Tesla. So they're talking about having a 0 to 60 time of 3.5 seconds. These are fast. And they're also talking about a range of 350 miles. So these are sensible sized cars. They'll have fast recharging. They're popular. Don't know the prices yet. They haven't even built the factory, so we're not going to even get into the prices. But they see a huge demand, and I happen to agree with them totally. If you can start a new factory with all the knowledge that everyone has already gone through Tesla, through Rivian, through Volkswagen, through Ford, through China, use all that knowledge, gather it all together, learn from it, design and build your own factory which is dedicated to building EVs, which are dedicated to being really fast and efficient and brilliant and everything going for them, good range. Then you've got a good market, sell direct to the public, everything's going good. But they're going one further. I've done a separate video on this. If we haven't launched it already, it will be launching in the very near future. And this is what they call their extended range SUVs and pickup trucks. Now for Tesla, they do offer a range extender on the Cybertruck. It's a really simple one. In the flatbed at the back, they bolt in. It has to be done in the factory. You can't add it. It has to be factory built. But part of the bed in the back is actually just another battery. So effectively, you get two batteries. And if you're going on a long run, you can charge them both up to full. If you're only pottering around locally, you can just charge one of them and make it a very much quicker charging session. A lot of other people, Ford, for example, they are boasting at the moment they're the only one who are making hybrid pickups. They see that as one of the futures. But the big future that's happening in China now, which the other video covers in a lot more detail, is the range extender with petrol generators. So these are a very different context altogether. With a plug-in hybrid, you can run them on pure petrol, you can run them on pure electric, you can run them on a combination, that's fine. With these petrol generator range extenders, you always run your vehicle on electricity, always. You only have a battery, you only have electric motors, whether you have 1, 2 or 4 doesn't matter, and your car will always only ever drive on the battery as an EV. But in the boot, instead of putting a bigger battery, then what you put is a petrol generator. And this petrol generator, it will have its own fuel tank, and it will have a generator, and it will be connected not to your wheels as a drive, but it will be connected to your battery as an alternative method of charging your battery. And it will be able to charge your vehicle on the road from petrol while you're driving along as an EV. In other words, instead of driving along and your battery state of charge dropping every mile that you drive, even with regenerative braking, with a petrol generator, you will be able to drive along as an EV off the battery, and the battery will not be going down. It will be topped up by the petrol generator. And what that will do is it will allow someone in one of these Scout Motors SUVs or pickup trucks to drive very much further than they can at the moment. If they're only going locally, they will obviously only drive on the existing battery. It will be a full EV. They can charge it up at home or the office or the workplace or wherever it is, or they can charge at a public charger. But if they are going on a long journey, they've always got a petrol tank in the back. Before they go, they top it up to full, and then automatically, you don't have to switch anything. There's nothing to do. You just set off driving. And when your battery gets down to a certain state of charge, petrol engine fires up, and it just keeps the battery at that level or tops it back up slightly as you're driving along. Absolutely brilliant for people who are doing long distances, but also equally good for people who are towing a caravan, because one of the biggest problems with an EV is when you touch a caravan, your range halves. But imagine you can set off with your caravan on the back, and as your battery starts heading down towards 20, 15 or 10%, petrol generator fires up and it just stays there for the rest of the journey until the petrol runs out. And obviously, when you get to a point where you're going to stop, either at your destination or for lunch or a toilet break, you can charge or refill. So for example, if there's a charging station there, a supercharger or a ultra rapid charger, you can go and plug your EV in and recharge the battery from a public charger. If there's no public chargers there, you just go and top up the petrol tank, and then you'll be able to set off and carry on your journey. Now, for those who can charge at home or at work, these will be great because during normal trips, you will only be using the really cheap overnight rate electricity that we all get with owning an EV. And so for many people, they'll never use the generator in the back. For those who do, it might be 1, 2, 3 or 4 times a year. Maybe you put your caravan on the back and go on holiday for 2 weeks for a road trip. Boy, that petrol tank will be used, but you don't have to worry about your EV range being halved. So that's what they're going to be launching, is an SUV and a pickup truck. These are off-road vehicles. They're like a pickup truck or the Cybertruck. They can go off-road. They've got good ground clearance. They will have really good performance, really good range on the battery, but they will then be able to go to up to about 500 miles using the petrol generator. This could be the future for those people who say, I need 500 or 1,000 mile range. Because the trouble is, most of them don't. They just don't understand the change. They're so used to just putting petrol in, it'll take you 400, 500, 600 miles, and then you fill up and off you go again. Most people, 95% of all their journeys are commuting, and they're around about 10, 20, 30 miles. That's it. And 60% to 70% of all people in the UK can actually charge at home. So if that's all you're doing, 20, 30, 40 miles a day, and you charge every night at home, you're never going to reach the end of your range. And if once a year or twice a year you go on a long distance on your holidays and you have to pay for public charging, hey, it's not a big deal once or twice a year. And if people buy these with the range extenders and then find that throughout the whole year they just don't actually use the petrol bit at all anymore, people are going to switch instantly onto just full BEVs, get rid of the petrol bit, it's just extra cost, and they'll go to full EVs. I love this. I'm sincerely hoping this has got some distance. I hope they can keep the finances going until something like this will develop. I have my doubts if they can. I think Volkswagen is in a much more serious trouble than most people realise. It is so much closer to bankruptcy. It's nothing to do really with the EV side of it. EV has not helped them. What it is there's just no demand for ICE cars now, and that was their core business, and that was what the factories were built on. Thousands and thousands of workers in the factories building these cars, and they don't need them now. And yet union and laws in Europe mean you can't get rid of them. You're going to have to pay them off. So they're going to have tens of thousands of people. They're going to have to pay off massive amounts of money just to get rid of them. And then, of course, what they're going to be left with is a factory that, well, be honest, nobody wants. You can't use it for making EVs, as they found, and this is why they're setting up with Scout Motors. So they're going to be having to pay a fortune out for the getting rid of all the people who not need it anymore for working. They're going to be left with a load of factories that they can't sell because who wants them? If they can't make a profit out of it and they're no use for EVs, who wants a big factory of 10, 100,000 square feet? Well, nothing springs to mind. Unless it's making batteries or mega packs. I have no wish to see any automaker go out of business, and I really do wish VW all the success in the world. But is it not ironic that the company that sacked its own CEO for stating that EVs are the future now risks its own future entirely on EVs? With China, the world's largest new car market, now almost 100% electric, and worldwide EV sales hitting around 20% and growing, the ICE car market, including hybrids, has just shrunk beyond all recognition, and any legacy auto manufacturer that is risking its entire future on being able to make, sell and profit from ICE cars and hybrids is treading a very dangerous path. I'm Dave, thanks for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and if you'd like to see more, please subscribe. As always, we do welcome your comments.